Okay, in this video I'm going to talk about some retargeting techniques that you're going to want to implement to make the most out of your retargeting lists and your retargeting marketing. The first thing that you got to keep in mind is that when you do start implementing your retargeting lists and you start marketing these people, that you got to target broad. Okay, so if you're going to use a platform like Sitescout, what you want to be doing is you want to be selecting run of the network. You don't want to be selecting specific categories because then you're going to be limiting yourself. Now, don't be fearful of bidding on something like run of the network on the many platforms out there, because basically you've already retargeted the prospect. You've already qualified them through whatever process that you put them through in order to get them onto your retargeting list. So now basically what you want to do is you want to be able to reach them as far as you can all over the internet. And the only way to do that really is with run of the network targeting. Because if, for example, you're building a remarketing list or retargeting list in the travel market, you don't want to just limit yourself to finding them on in the travel category or on travel websites, because they might not be visiting travel websites that particular day. So with run of the network option set up for your remarketing campaigns, then you target broad, you have a better chance of reaching that prospect that you've already put on a remarketing list. The other thing to keep in mind is that you're going to have to bid high on the cost per 1,000 impressions, the CPM bids. And that's because you got to remember you're still competing against the thousands of advertisers who are bidding on impressions, whether that's on the Google AdSense platform, whether that's on Sitescout, a demand side platform. You're still, don't automatically assume just because you got a retargeting list and you're now created a campaign towards that retargeting list that most of these retargeting networks are going to allow you to show up first. It's going to still happens in that the advertiser who pays the highest amount is still going to have their ad shown. So keep that in mind, especially when it comes to retargeting, that you're not going to be bidding the low amounts that you would on, let's say, a demand side platform such as Sitescout, that you're going to be able to get traffic for 10 to 20 cents. You are going to have to bid slightly high. The other thing to keep in mind is, then this is where I see where a lot of people who are doing retargeting, they do this wrong, is that they don't set a frequency cap for how often that their banners are exposed to their retargeting list. And what ends up happening is that if you don't set up a frequency cap, and I'm talking about setting it so that the user only sees maybe your banner twice a day or something, what happens is people start getting annoyed when they start seeing somebody's banners constantly following them all over the internet. So you definitely don't want to do that. You want to set up a frequency cap of maybe one per day or two banners per day. And that way, you know, it's a subtle type of advertising to the prospect, yet at the same time, it captures their attention because they have at one point visited your website. So very, very important. Don't do that. Otherwise, you're going to turn off your prospect by if it looks like you're stalking them all over the internet. Okay. The other thing that most people don't do is they don't untarget the qualified prospects. And what I mean by that is that when you create a retargeting campaign, or you are just simply buying traffic and you're placing that pixel, what you're going to want to do is, and most of these platforms do allow you to untarget the prospect who has taken action on whatever your call to action is, whether it's the opt-in or whether it's the buyer. So for example, somebody comes to your website, you drop a pixel on their computer, which allows you to add them to your retargeting list. But if they end up buying whatever you're selling on that website, what you want to do is then you want to untarget them. And there's Sitescout is a platform that gives you a piece of code that you can place on your conversion page that will untarget the prospect. I know that Google, the way Google AdSense does it is that they have a negative audience feature, which will disqualify people from seeing your ads who were initially targeted with your cookie. Okay. So definitely that is something that you do want to do, because then you're just going to end up wasting money trying to retarget or remarket to prospects who have already ended up on your list or bought your product. Another thing that you can do, another technique, is you could pay website owners to place your retargeting pixel on their website. I know that sounds a bit odd, but if there are people out there who will place your retargeting pixel on their websites, and that's a great way to grow your remarketing list. And most website owners won't mind because it's an invisible piece of code that they're just inserting on their website. And if you could pay them like a small flat fee per month, they should be willing to do that. And the other thing that came out of the workshop that Matt talked about was that is something that I have a feeling is going to be potentially huge, is the ability to sell your retargeting list to other people. And I know that Sitescout is just one of many companies who are working to build an infrastructure that will allow you to sell your retargeting list to third parties. So that, in a sense, since it's free to build up a retargeting list, that can be a great way to monetize that retargeting list without you having to do anything with it, and that is selling it to third parties. So these are just a few retargeting techniques to take into consideration when you are building your retargeting campaigns.